What was Senator Kennedy's contribution to this project?
He was its prime mover and sponsor. 2 years ago, he was instrumental in bringing together the two groups that form this joint venture. Beyond that, the resources which have been brought to bear on the problems in Bedford-Stuyvesant are traceable largely to the efforts of the late senator.
Ready on the right. Ready on the Ready on the right.
Hey yo T, can I get open? You know it. Hey J, can I get open? You know it. Hey y'all, can I get open? You know it. You wanna fly style? Skis about to show it. As I, playing like Uno, sick and slam a jam, tick it just like a sumo. I get big, check out my finger, my jig 'em. Styles I kick 'em, sugar, smack, you dig 'em. Damn, I'm gonna sip slam. You knows who I am, you knows who I am. Back up, that's in order. Donna, get out the water. Nah, not yet. Ready, set, go. When I grab the mic, they get petrified. Why? Hey, I'm just so fly. Lions, tigers, bears. Oh my God, goodness gracious, witness style, drive the child. Wow, I'm ripping this microphone. Ain't no place like home, ain't no place like home. Ski, can I get open? You know it. Hey Jay, can I get open? You know it. Hey y'all, can I get open? You know it. You wanna fly style? She's about to show it.
Like, holy cow, what can you do now? When I flip the style, girls are like, ooh, chow. I'm living dangerous, so now the stranger is living the lifestyle of a bad, rich and famous kid. When I get raw, baby, Paul better parlay. Beat me? Oh, please, that's what they all say. You can't get with the kid, no, not the kid.
No, he didn't.
Oh, yes, I did. While I waxing up, backsides in a jiffy.
I know he ain't just frontin' on
But you damn skippy, good God damn, I'ma slam hard with my squad. Good God damn, I'ma scream. He's a dream boat when I float, rough on every note, mean like a horror flick. Till tomorrow, I'm gone. Ghost, peace, sayonara.
Yo, G, can I get open? You know it. H Street, can I get open? You know it. Hey y'all, can I get open? You know it. You wanna fly style? Jay's about to show it.
Well, can I? It's never a question of how, but when I rip it, will I quit it? Forget it. Still I always on point whenever I hit it. Biting's forbidden. Don't do what y'all done it too late. Y'all did it. Now straight to the track, I'm burning your back like backdraft. Brothers who follow the track gotta stutter. That nigga's fast. I pick up the pieces, I straighten it out like beat rock or C-S or creases. It's your choice, Jesus Christ. I'm nice like that. You're freaking gay, right? I flow like water, so put your finger in the dike. I slam. I got original flavor. Pick up the jam. I killed Chico, and now it's just me, the man. Go get your gun. I go all out with a can. Brothers is having a hard time with who I am. Jay kicking it, A, ripping it way past why I'm so crazy. Did I get open? You know it.
Hey y'all, did I get open? You know it. Hey y'all, did I get open? You know it. You know it. You know it. You know it.
Ready on the left. Ready on the right. 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 Ready on the
This is a typical apartment house in the Crown Heights section of Brooklyn. Inside, in an elevator, a young school teacher, on the way home from the movies, was brutally assaulted and knifed to death. The most recent crime to outrage and terrorize the citizens who live here.
Everybody is so afraid because of all the things that have been happening here. It's gotten so bad that it's just impossible. You can't walk in the streets anymore.
There's no one on the street after 9, 10 o'clock.
I won't go into the elevator in my own building by myself. I'll only go in if my husband's with me.
The entire area is scared.
All our activities have stopped at night. Our mahjong games, our movies, going to bingo. We don't go anyplace. The street is locked up at 10 o'clock.
I'm afraid of being mugged, robbed, and let's put it, raped.
Those are the voices of Crown Heights, a pleasant, frightened, middle-class neighborhood in Brooklyn. Some of it integrated, some of it not. And this is what the people of Crown Heights are afraid of, the Bedford-Stuyvesant section. It's not integrated at all. It's one of America's largest Negro communities. Some of Bedford-Stuyvesant is pleasantly middle class, too. Some of it is a slum. And some of the attacks that have terrified Crown Heights have been traced to hoodlums from Bedford-Stuyvesant.
Something should be done about it.
I'm very much afraid, and I think that something should be done.
Something should be done about it.
This is the first thing that was done in Crown Heights, even before the murder. A community patrol, first set up by ultra-Orthodox Hasidic Jews and nicknamed the Maccabees, after a legendary family of Jewish warriors. But now that Christian and Negro organizations are joining, it's called the Crown Heights Association Patrol. Its husky, unarmed men ride around Crown Heights in half a dozen cars each night, prowl through back alleys with a great deal of 10-4ing on their citizen band radio, and are available to take home unescorted travelers in the dangerous hours. Her name is Arlene Semple. She works for a doctor in Crown Heights, and some of the patients had told her if she ever had to come home late at night, call the patrol. The effectiveness of these amateur patrols can be and has been questioned. What can't be questioned is that the national publicity over a New York community so scared it had to set up such a patrol has brought in the pros, brought in regular police, including the city's elite tactical patrol force swarming over Crown Heights.
Now, for our present situation in Crown Heights. As you know, and I've stressed this before, we must maintain the confidence of the people in the police department. One way to do that is to make sure they see you so that they know there are people on patrol, there is protection around. Just riding by is not enough. You have to look people in the eye. Your presence has to register. Furthermore, don't go by quickly. Ride slow. Now, we have posted in the back the composite of the man who is described as the perpetrator of the assault, rape in the 77th precinct. Now, you've seen the picture. It's posted in the back. I want you to bear the description in your mind up here. In your memo book, good, but make sure you have it in mind. I'll repeat it. A male Negro, 5 foot 10 inches, 155 pounds, 21 years, light complexion, head shaved.
I took a walk down one of those dark streets with veteran Crown Heights patrolman Joe Scavo.
What do you think is going to happen out here? Do you think things are going to quiet it down, or is it going to get worse?
I think things will quiet down, and police department throughout the city will handle their job.
You think these citizens of patrols are of any help?
Well, within their own restrictions, they realize what their powers are, which are very limited. If they just go about and, say, see a crime, which they can report, and whereas the police can respond and take appropriate action, fine. If they feel they're going to take the law into their own hands, then it will be trouble.
A few years ago, Crown Heights, Bedford-Stuyvesant wouldn't have been national stories. Today, because of America's troubled racial situation, they are. We might therefore consider one final voice of Crown Heights. Sir, do you feel that this community is safe for your wife and children?
I honestly don't. But I would like to say something else. I mean, I'm a Negro and I'm proud of it. But there are times when I'm really ashamed. It's not so much the neighborhood, it's the parents. If these parents would teach their children from the beginning how to behave and act like human beings, this thing wouldn't happen. I mean, reason I wanted to say something, I don't want people to blame this thing on Negroes as a whole, but on the individual, because it is a rotten thing.
Oh, since the restoration began, we've done quite a bit of work. With the lights were installed in each yard, flower pots on each stoop, and then they have put flower boxes in each window. And so we are doing our best to improve this block more and more each day. And we hope that everybody who passes through will take a pattern after this block, because we are very proud of it.
The corporation has taken over an abandoned milk bottling plant and is converting it into a community center and office building. 2 residential blocks are being converted to provide a green belt in the heart of the ghetto. They're called super blocks. President of the Restoration Corporation is Franklin Thomas, a former New York City police official and a lifelong resident of Bedford-Stuyvesant.
Mr. Thomas, why is Bedford-Stuyvesant a better place to live in now than it was when you began?
We believe the prime reason is the presence of hope on the part of some people who didn't have hope 2 years ago. In terms of delivery on some of these promises, we are seeing some things come about. We're seeing super blocks, we're seeing new housing, we're seeing a focus of the Model Cities program, we're seeing things that people feel and touch and affect their lives every day. These are things on which hope is based. The challenge now is to deliver on the promise, deliver on the hope, and make it all a reality.
I'm delighted to be here, and I'm really very pleased really to come and congratulate all of you, all of those people from Bedford-Stuyvesant who worked so hard on this project, of Frank Thomas and Judge Jones and your board, who have had faith and confidence that something could be done with this effort. Really what we celebrate today, I think 2 things we celebrate today: the fact that you had the confidence.
This involvement now of over 80 private institutions in providing a consortium of mortgage money is critically important. Model cities. As you know, the Bedford-Stuyvesant Restoration Corporation covers Bedford-Stuyvesant. But larger than Bedford-Stuyvesant is the Model Cities community of Brooklyn, which embraces also East New York and Brownsville. And what we do here in Bedford-Stuyvesant, we do also and plan to do in the other parts of the Model Cities community of Brooklyn. Our staff is coming together, a local, indigenous, professional staff picked by the community with engineers, architects, designers, and all of the other doers and movers that we must have to make the Model Cities community work. I'm grateful to what the Restoration Corporation has done under Frank's leadership, because in many ways it will give us the kind of pilot guidance that we need in all of the Model Cities communities of New York, in Central Harlem, in South Bronx, and in Central Brooklyn. And the
Thank you very much. Frank Thomas and Judge Jones, Mayor Lindsay, and distinguished guests. I like particularly what Judge Frank Thomas said, that the quiet part of it, which I thought was very nice, when he started to describe me, with me to pledge his support. But you all heard it. And I would like to ask you to start by going, decided that something could be done, and working with the...
Mrs. Kennedy stepped onto the construction site, smartly dressed in a red, yellow, and blue plaid coat and dress ensemble. Warmly received by workmen, she received a bright yellow hard hat. It matched her outfit. She was accompanied by John Dorr, president of the financial arm of the project, and Franklin Thomas, executive director of the community branch. This urban redevelopment project consists of 2 nonprofit corporations, Bedford-Stuyvesant Restoration Corporation, whose board members are local residents, and Development and Service Corporation, whose board is drawn from the business establishment. The walking tour began with an inspection of these Herkimer Street buildings, which will become the headquarters of both agencies. It will include a community center and office space for private companies. The structure was formerly an old dairy. A few blocks away at Albany Street and St. Mark's Avenue, the tour stopped at what is called the Super Block, a 2-block area of street being redesigned and landscaped to provide space for a park. The abandoned buildings bought by the restoration program are being renovated to create low-income housing. The IBM plant at Gates and Nostrand Avenues is an important part of the project. It provides jobs for 318 people. 217 hired from the surrounding community. The plant manufactures cables and power supplies for the vast amount of machinery put out by the huge firm. I talked with Mrs. Kennedy about her impressions. These programs, do you think they will seriously affect the self-help?
Well, I think they will, but I think that so much private help and private industry is going into Bedford-Stuyvesant that hopefully it won't have too much of a terrible impact on this area here.
Good.
Get a quick dishes. Move to the right, Freddie.
The Bedford-Stuyvesant Restoration Corporation is the birth of a commitment. What Mrs. Edward Kennedy saw was the healthy, expansive development of that commitment. Lucille Rich, WCBS TV News.
Party today in what once was an abandoned milk bottling factory in Brooklyn, New York. The guests included people who are famous and people who aren't. But they were all there to celebrate a revival that began 20 years ago. Harold Dow reports.
This is such a mistake. Ethel Kennedy may feel a little uneasy on roller skates, but members of the Kennedy clan put them on today, joining 120 poor black and Hispanic children from Brooklyn. For the children, it was a chance for fun, entertainment, and some early Yuletide gifts. For the Kennedys, attending this Christmas party has become a family tradition. It's a continuation of a 20-year commitment that began with the late Senator Robert Kennedy. In 1964, the Bedford-Stuyvesant section of Brooklyn was the scene of racial riots. Later, then Senator Robert Kennedy came here and saw skyrocketing unemployment, decayed housing, and abandoned businesses. He was moved by what he saw and sponsored legislation that started an organization to rebuild Bedford-Stuyvesant.
He thought that a lot of people had to make a big effort to overcome the problems in this area.
Before he was assassinated, Kennedy helped to create the Bedford-Stuyvesant Restoration Corporation that created jobs, attracted new businesses, renovated old buildings, and built brand new ones. Altogether, the corporation channeled $350 million into Bedford-Stuyvesant. A $31,000 loan went to Antonor Adams, who used it to purchase this McDonald's franchise. Today, he owns 3.
We were able to employ a tremendous number of high school students and adults.
The restoration organization owns this state-of-the-art recording studio and this supermarket, which grossed over $24 million last year.
We've tried to enhance the quality of life in our community.
Unemployment is still high in Bedford-Stuyvesant. There are still areas of blight. But for many in this neighborhood, things are a lot better because the senator from New York came this way. Today, they honored his memory. Harold Dow, CBS News, Brooklyn, New York.
Jesse Jackson was on the line with us, and of course, as you know, was in New York City last night to be working with the family of Yusuf Hawkins, and we have spent the last 2 hours listening to very moving emotional service. And Reverend Jackson, the constant theme of that has been something you have struck out on this matter since it happened, for some time. And that was the issue of whether or not we as a community, as a race, will learn anything from this that will gain strength about learning to love each other and to support each other and make sure that nothing like this ever happens. They encourage that kind of mission. And out of that,
stay off the truck, please.
And out of that, the student struggle, and out of that, the drive for public accommodation, out of that, the right to vote. It's in terms that we had a sugar jar, lemon juice, and made lemonade. We turned our anger into power. And that becomes the real challenge in New York, to return our unity and our love and our anger into a statement on September 12th. That is a climate in New York. decided to do.
There were messages of conciliation and there were calls for justice, but there was also the Reverend Al Sharpton's direct address to the youth in the coffin. "Yusuf, we're not going to let you down," he said. "Yusuf, this time they're going to pay." During the lengthy service, speaker after speaker emphasized the black community's rage as well as, take it again, 3, 2, 1. Throughout the lengthy service, speaker after speaker emphasized the black community's rage as well as its sorrow. There were also, I'm sorry, 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Throughout the lengthy service, speech, excuse me, please be quiet, thank you. Please be quiet. 3, 2, 1. Throughout the service, there were, take it again, I'm sorry. 3, 2, 1. Throughout the service, speaker after speaker emphasized the black community's rage and anger, but they also called...
They got murdered.
I need one at a time. I'll get all of you, but I need one at a time.
That's what it was. They got murdered, so that's what's supposed to be. Only thing I don't like, we've been speeching since 60, and it's 89, nothing changed, and I feel like this should be it, you know? I feel actions speak more than words. You know, like that, we gotta take a stand. That's it.
Believe that. Okay. I mean, just like right now, you right here, you in Brownsville, you in Bedford-Stuyvesant. Why we can't walk through Bensonhurst? You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody throwing no bricks on y'all.
What's your reaction to the fact that these kids are now charged with murder?
It's white society. You know what I'm saying? Why the people from why they kill a black kid?
No, you know what I'm saying? First these kids weren't going to be charged with murder, and now they are.
What else could you charge? What else could you charge somebody for and you got a body here? What they gonna charge them for? Assault? 20 people for assault? The man is dead. Somebody got to go to jail for that.
Thank you very much.
Who think? My name is Kevin.
Kevin what?
Kevin Moore.
Moore, and what's your name?
James.
James what?
Howard.
The trigger man.
Yeah.
Still get the trigger man. We want the trigger man who did the damage, and the rest of them get charged with him.
That's right. All right, the 2 that they have in custody, 2 of the 5 are now charged with murder. Are you satisfied with that?
No, we still want the trigger man. Whoever the trigger man was, we want him charged with murder, and the other rest, they was with him.
All right, what about the guys that first they were charged with assault and now they're charged with murder? That means something, don't you think?
Yeah, it means
it does mean something. Yeah, they was with him. They was all the way with him. They was beating down with baseball bat. If they had the gun, they would have did the same thing.
Okay, but do you care that it's instead of assault, it's murder? Are you glad it's murder?
We want the man. I want the man who pulled the trigger. That's all. The man who pulled the trigger should be charged with murder. The rest of them accessory with him. That's it.
Just like with Howard Burns. Just like with the Howard Burns.
I got you.
I mean, you know, it ain't right what they did, you know what I'm saying? It's really wrong what they did, but I'm saying she tried to get the man with the pull the trigger. The other 4 kids, they should get punished for what they did because they should know what it's going to do. Understand? Like I said, whites shouldn't be jealous of us because we all the same. They get more better than us. But
okay, but do you understand what my question is?
They should stick the assault to them because they assaulted, but they should get still saying, get the kid that pulled the gun. And get the 4 kids, but them 4 kids, they followed him. They just found the leader. But get the kid with the trigger. I'm saying get the kid with the trigger. Them 4 kids, my name is General Qua. They call me General Qua.
General Qua?
Yeah, that's what they call me. I'm the general. Q-U-A.
Okay. They've decided on murder. You guys don't wait, just stand there, okay? What is your opinion? Are you...
Well, I didn't hear you.
Well, instead of charging these kids in the Hawkins case with assault, they've decided it's murder. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I do.
Why?
Well, I mean, if they had gave them a chance to explain themselves why they were there and let them get out of the community. If they, which they, you know, shouldn't even let them get out of the community. I mean, they're free to walk wherever they want to, you understand? As long as they wasn't causing no disturbance.
Okay, thank you. Do you think that's a good idea?
Yes, I do. I think the parents have to have a little responsibility in this too, though. The parents over there, they don't show these kids the right way.
Stand there. But what is your opinion? Instead of going with assault charges, now they get full murder charge against them?
I think it's because they went there in a way to hurt. And you never know if you kill somebody when you have a bat or anything else. It's not just you going out there to hit somebody, you're going to hurt them. You could kill them.
Is it right they're charging them with murder?
That's right. They got to go. They have to do their time.
What's your name?
My name's Ray.
Ray what?
Torres.
Torres, thank you. It's in the Hawkins murder. Instead of charging them with assault, they upgraded it to murder. What are your thoughts about that? Do you think it should be murder that they're charged with?
Yes, I do.
Why?
Why? The boy died. If look at it on the other hand, if it was a white person and a black person was behind that trigger, they would have got charged with murder and would have they would think about the death penalty also.
Okay, what's your name?
Don't worry, now I'm not.
You don't have to.
Just wondered how you thought about the service.
Oh, it was inspiring. It was sad. Reverend Farrakhan, Reverend Daughtry, Reverend Al Sharpton all spoke, and we're looking for hope that we'll be able to walk down any street possible in peace.
I know this is a strange question, but are you pleased that you were able to get inside to the funeral?
I was definitely pleased. I left my job to come here because I have a son that's 25, and I believe that I should have been here. In fact, I should have marched Sunday. I had a toothache. That's the only reason why I didn't march.
But you definitely felt it was your place to be here today.
Oh, yes. I felt it was my place.
How did the family seem to be holding up?
Well, you know, this world is natural, you know.
Okay, what's your name?
Oh, my name is Gloria Baldwin.
Baldwin, thank you. You're from Bushwick? I'm sorry. Could you tell me your thoughts about the service, how you thought that it went?
Excuse me?
Can you tell me your thoughts about the service?
Well, I feel that the service, that's been a very impressive service. And personally, I think that it will carry a message throughout the whole world. And I feel that even though we have one or two bigots involved, maybe they'll have a change of heart. But this is a message. And I believe that people everywhere want to get together. I don't think this will be in vain.
Do you think there was any comfort to the family?
Yes, I believe that the family has received some type of comfort from the masses of people that have demonstrated their love and concern. And even the press and everybody worked together so lovely so far. There was a few incidents, but we look for that. Yes.
Can you tell me your name on the tape?
Well, my name is Bishop. I'm the Archbishop. And my name is Anthony Monk.
Monk, M-O-N-K. Thank you, sir.
Located.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Sandiford? Mr. Sandiford? Mrs. Griffith? Jean? It's all right. You thought you wanted to come out today?
Well, this is a citizen to pay my respect for Yusuf Hawkins, who I didn't know. I'm all the way from the Bronx. But as a black person, just to join together. I'm sorry we got to meet on these terms, but we need to meet on other terms. Let's not meet on where someone gets killed or someone dies. Let's meet on a regular basis.
Okay, what's your name?
Carl Patterson.
Carl Patterson, thank you so much.
Coming this late in the campaign, the murder of Yusuf Hawkins and its aftermath are bound to create ripples that will last until the primary, only 13 days away. The question now is how this will cut, whether the outrage will provide the city's minority community with another reason.
Where are the cameras? His point is valid, but you, the media, where are you pointing the camera?
Let me ask you something.
Yes.
Do you think it was any consolation to the family today that this many people showed up?
Overwhelmingly. Overwhelmingly. They are kept together. We are keeping them together. They're blessed. The other point that I have too is that with all these politicians and all these elected officials as well as sports and entertainment celebrities that are here, I hope that it's not only in these occasions that they will come out to voice their concerns, but we're uniting the entire East New York to come together to speak out against drugs and crime. And I hope that these same people that are here would be able to come out and show their support for the community, but not just only for their own purpose, but to show their support.
What's your
and
name,
I hope
sir?
that my name is John Williams, and I represent the New Creation, New Start Ministries, and we're doing a work in East New York.
Is that Farrakhan?
As here in Houston today, Mr. Bush returned to an old theme. He appeared at a local school to talk up the fight against the nation's drug problem. In fact, how is that fight going? Jacqueline Adams looks beyond the photo opportunity to the bigger picture.
We found drugs here.
As Vice President and President, George Bush made the war on drugs a personal crusade.
This is crack cocaine.
He went after drug dealers at home and abroad, from Colombia to Panama, from coast to coast. In the last 5 years, spending almost $62 billion. The result?
George Bush's legacy in terms of the drug war is defeat.
Indeed, that's what the administration's own drug enforcement agency concluded in its latest report. For all the money and all the president's personal involvement, more cocaine and heroin are being smuggled into the country than ever before. The drugs are purer and cheaper, and the number of users is on the rise again.
Even in Houston, a few miles from the Republican convention, Texas drug enforcement officials say you can easily buy 90% pure crack cocaine for as little as $10 per rock.
You're dead, man.
Experts say the drug war fizzled because the president's priorities were wrong. Huge budgets for law enforcement, almost nothing for drug treatment. Yet, in Trenton, New Jersey, the president's latest $1 million pilot program, Weed and Seed, is winning praise.
There's a lot of complaints about that 221 Rosemont, you know? So you see anything down there? They usually have these drugs in this hole right here. Look.
The weed part calls for more foot patrols and drug busts, although critics complain the cops are just pushing the dealers from one neighborhood to another, from one 8-hour shift to another.
Some of them waved to us as we're leaving, but...
Drug dealers?
yeah.
As you're going off shift?
As we're going off shift, because they know our times.
On drugs, that'll make you bug. It drains out your brains like dirt in a rug.
The seed part, however, reflects a major change, equal funding for education and social programs. Without Weed and Seed, for example, the Holland Middle School wouldn't be open this summer or after school come the fall.
We're building a foundation and hopefully open their eyes to a different view of what life is all about, a more positive view. And when they don't have to use drugs as a crutch or a way of making money.
You guys behaving yourself, right? You guys ain't hanging tough, right?
The experts hope Weed and Seed is just a beginning. The drug war will only be won, they say, when the politicians put as much money into treating drug addicts as they do arresting them. Jacqueline Adams, CBS News.
Well, it might not seem like it at times. Crime is actually down in the United States for the 5th year in a row. As Elizabeth Caledon reports, officials are claiming it's all due to better police work and the changing attitude of people living in crime-ridden neighborhoods.
Neighborhood kids were playing basketball Sunday on a court once reserved only for drug dealers. They say it's the first time in years they've been able to play here because something has changed in Brooklyn and in communities like it across the country. Crime is taking a break. According to new figures released by the Justice Department, crime is down nationwide. The murder rate dropped 7%. Robbery and aggravated assault both fell 5%, as did burglary. The biggest drops in crime were recorded in the nation's biggest cities.
Crime hit the larger cities. Crack hit the larger cities first, and we felt its impact. And the cities have mobilized and galvanized their forces together and are ahead of the game.
The police have been getting a lot of credit for the drop in crime, especially here in New York. But some criminologists say it may have as much to do with changing attitudes right here on the streets. More young people are shying away from dealing drugs, according to Rick Curtis, a criminologist who does his research on the streets of Brooklyn.
On this block alone, I would count maybe 100 dealers every day.
Now families are moving back. Communities tired of crime are fighting back. And urban youth like these 18-year-old twin brothers are opting for solid jobs. They wanted their faces hidden, fearing retribution from drug dealers still in business.
People getting jobs. The kids that used to sell drugs, they stopped, they got a job.
That will be music to the ears of the Justice Department. The number of young people is expected to increase dramatically in the next decade, and federal law enforcement officials say curbing youth violence will be their #1 priority. Elizabeth Caledon, CBS News, New York. In Los Angeles today, a 2-hour freeway chase led to the arrest of a murder suspect.
That's a big pistol.
A dramatic scene, but one that's being played out a lot less frequently these days. The murder rate in LA is at a 20-year low. It's the same story in New York. Just a few years ago, the square-mile area that makes up Brooklyn's 79th precinct saw an average of 70 murders a year.
You'd see crime scenes all over the place.
This year, there were 17.
Now you ride in the mornings, it's a sense of secureness.
It's a trend being charted in cities around the country because of a stronger economy, more jobs, and a waning crack epidemic.
We have the biggest reduction in homicide rates.
Police departments are claiming and deserve much of the credit. They've put more cops on the street and cracked down on petty crimes.
We've taken a zero-tolerance approach to crime in this city, which sends a very clear signal that if you're going to commit a crime, you're going to be apprehended, you're going to be incarcerated.
But Deputy Chief Pomeroy of the Los Angeles Police Department says the credit should go to communities, which have grown intolerant of crime.
There's been an outcry against violence. There's been stronger laws, people speaking against it. Maybe that's worked on our collective conscience.
So as 1998 begins, a new trend emerges. The murder rate is expected to continue to fall, but it's more than that. For the first time in decades, communities once victimized and defeated are starting to believe that murder is a preventable crime. Elizabeth Caledon, CBS News, New York.
Growing up in Kings County. Yo. 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 A Brooklyn baby, I was born up in Kings County. Inside the womb 7 months before the Queen found me. Up in Bully Brownsville with thieves around me. Now Rome, Gatton, Staten with Green Team around me. They call me Bobby, cousin Billy got the black Harley. Taught his son how to snipe cats like Lee Harvey. Oswell, all's well that ends well. A big brother Devon, he pushed the bins well. I got the cherry range, known for rocking heavy chains. I'm from the tribe of men who would bury kings. On the back of the A-train, my daydream. Should I make a fat hit or should I take cream? From the clan that taught you cats cash rule. I made slow grind tracks, you grab ass too. Give respect to the prince when he passed through. Might have a chocolate deluxe in a glass shoe. Cousin Bully known to strap the black Uzi. Shoot you in front of the Jakes like Jack Ruby. Live on TV when you see B-O-B-B-Y-D-R-T-N-L. Things ain't too well.
Lafayette-Stuyvesant, Malcolm X. Shot dice on green, we live from Pulaski, y'all. It's Fred Glassy. Zigzag, zig through traffic, get the herb, hit the guard, peace raw. What's the word on things? Through the phone, I heard the banging sounds in the background. Lay it down, I'm spitting what the people missing. We extreme with the murder type thing. Don't sleep, get your head split to the white meat. Big guns down south, we blaze. Ship his body back up north, it's the western. Wild Texan, no trespassing. Alarm might set the dead on. Planet Earth, home of Islam. Brooklyn, I was physically born, clothes torn. Rough tackle in the streets, a lot of math spin technique. We bring heat to the block party, drink Bacardi. Bag a shorty for the homies who ain't here.